And welcome back to my man cave. I'm not an expert, and today I just wanted to show you a quick find I found on the Lee Pro 1000 that had to do with causing the primers to tip and going sideways into the shell. Okay, so this, if you use the Lee Pro 1000, you might have seen this once or twice. The primer gets tipped on its side and pushed into the shell. And this did have a military crimp on the side, but before loading this, I countersunk all the holes so that wouldn't be an issue. For those of you who might be able to see the original crimp on the side, but if you look closely, it's been countersunk. And of course, this is what it should look like here. Okay, so I look down here at the plate, and you can see this plate is moving a little bit, and under the right conditions, the little rod that's supposed to seat the primer into the brass can shift on you. And it took me a long time to find out what the issue was, and I was rather surprised when I did find out. At first, I thought that my plate had worn out here because it is, for the most part, soft cast metal on the base here. And that still might be part of the issue, but I found out that it's, even if you do have some slop down here, that you can get rid of almost all of it. And I was surprised to find out where that's coming from. If you look here, you can see this rod goes all over the place. When I pulled off the top, that rod goes into here, and you can see that's a very large hole for this rod here, so it's not being captured and it's allowed to wobble all the way around in there. And the part that shocked me is I thought, well, maybe they made this part wrong and shipped it without machining this hole correctly. And I went online, and no, that's the way it's supposed to be. All the parts are supposed to come this way. So I'll show you the solution. It's quite simple. Here's a piece of nylon that I machined, and I'll show you in a second how I did it. But that goes in there, gets pushed down. Come back over to here, click it in, and for the most part it smooths the whole mechanism out substantially. But now look at what happens when I come over to here. I cannot shake that around, nor can I move that plate around to get that pin all over the place. So I would strongly suggest everybody doing this change. The part's very easy to make. The first part here is I put a 1/2-inch drill into my drill press here, put the speed at the very lowest speed. If you put this at a high speed and bring this down into here, you could have this part start shaking all around and do some damage to yourself or the parts. I'll show you how slow the speed is here. Lowest speed I have, and then you should clamp your vise down so it doesn't rattle on you. After you've got it centered, then slowly come down and bring that down in there. I didn't have any trouble with mine, but your results may vary, so be very careful. One other thing to mention, this metal is extremely soft, and it's very, very easy to machine. If you're not paying attention, it probably wouldn't be too hard to drill all the way through your part there. So be careful when you hit the bottom. Take your time. So after you've drilled this to a 1/2 inch, the next thing you want to put is a nylon insert in here. And for the most part, these are easy to come by. I bought mine at Lowe's, and sometimes they have what size of nylon spacer you need, sometimes they don't. But I did find them on eBay here, and the size would work fine. And for 10 of them, delivered to your house, shipping and handling $218. How can you go wrong on that? Here's what they more commonly look like. They're usually a little bit longer than they are wider. So I took the nylon insert there, and that they basically come with like a 2/10 of an inch diameter hole in there. I had to drill it out to 9/32. The outside was already 1/2 inch OD, so it wasn't too bad, and the ones on eBay actually come 1/2 inch long, and that's what you need. So you'd only have to drill it out 9/32 out, and then you would countersink each hole here. And the purpose of countersinking that hole is that when it comes over here, a countersink hole is going to find that bar a lot easier compared to a flat hole that you might have to wiggle around. And if you're worried about inserting this upside down, you could countersink both ends, then it wouldn't matter which way you put this in. And so after I get done with this video, I'm going to super glue that in there permanently. And you can see what a huge difference this makes. And now that stays right in the middle, and as I showed before, that doesn't bounce around. After you make this nylon insert and you've drilled it out and you've countersunk it, come on over and test it out first. With everything that you make, there's always going to be a little hand fitting. If you come over here and you find that it's snug and it's putting pressure on this from turning, ream it out a little bit more. You don't want to strip out the plastic gears down here in your loading table. And then once you've put it inside here, come back and test it again, because sometimes the sides will press in on that nylon insert. Press in on that nylon insert, and you want to still make sure that this rotates nicely here. You don't want this to be so snug that it's stripping out the gears here. I did make an insert out of steel here from a steel spacer, and that's probably a little bit better than a plastic one. Don't have to worry about that plastic one getting pinched or expanding and contracting in high and low humidity. Either way, it's definitely a worthwhile change. After you make this insert, put it in here and make sure it goes all the way down, because if this does not go all the way down and you glue that in up toward the top, it could possibly interfere with this when this table travels up. And you don't want that table interfering with this plastic part and causing a collision. I took before and after data on this. Before I put this nylon insert in here, I would get 1 to 4 shells like this per 100 with that primer tipping over. After I put that nylon insert, I ran 100 and got 0. So I hope this helps you. Thanks for watching.